Hello, fellow humans. Chris here again. So today, wanted to talk a little bit about masks. I just returned home from a little getaway. I was in a situation where masks were required, but not everybody was wearing masks, and it's really not getting enforced. Even in California, where we just brought back statewide mask mandates for basically the month of December to January because of the Omicron spread. It just doesn't really get enforced, and I mean, even Gavin Newsom himself says that he acknowledges that enforcement is a problem, but he says he trusts people to make the right decisions. But I guess if you really trusted people to make the right decisions, you would not need a mandate. But anyway, I kind of wanted to just talk about masks and my feelings on them and how they've kind of evolved over time. Uh, when the whole mask thing first started, I uh, I really felt I felt weird at first because it was a different thing, but once I got used to it, I felt good about it. I felt especially when I started seeing more and more people doing it. I felt a certain camaraderie with people. I felt this idea that I was a part of something much bigger than myself, and that other people also cared about it and had an investment in it, and there was this communal aspect to it, and I really enjoyed that, and I still do, but it, it it can get frustrating when that's not always reciprocated. Um, People who aren't vaccinated choosing not to mask up, being in situations where people are kind of belittling the whole idea of it, and um, that camaraderie can kind of come and go. Sometimes, you feel like you're in a situation where not everybody is masking up, and maybe it's not even required at that particular time, but there's a certain camaraderie you feel with people that are masking up, and that can kind of overcome the sort of resentment that you might feel towards people that don't. Um, I think that there's a certain empowerment when you mask up, even in situations where it's not mandated. I think that kind of shows that we're not sheep. We're not doing it because the government tells us to. Um, when I was in Medford at my hotel at the time, masks weren't required if you were vaccinated. Pretty much nobody there wore a mask, and almost all of those people were not vaccinated. Um, and I was fully vaccinated, and I continued to wear my mask, mostly to, partially to protect myself from them, but mostly to just continue to be a good role model, I guess, for anybody that might be paying attention. Um, you certainly don't feel like a sheep, though, when you are the only person wearing a mask in a situation like that. So you can take solace in that. Um, but it is frustrating, being away from home for 4 months, being in a situation where you're trying to really be involved in strong community outreach, getting shots to people who might not otherwise get a chance to get them, um, wearing a mask for 4 months, even when you're outside and separated by 1,000 feet from anybody else, just to be that sort of steward for doing the right thing, going through all that, and then coming home and having drunk people approach me and seemingly want to start a fight because I'm wearing a mask. It's hard sometimes to not kind of take the bait and engage with these people, but mostly I just want them to stay away from me. Um, I think that when we mask up, even when we don't have to, even when we're vaccinated and we know that there are unvaccinated people who aren't masking up at the same time, I think that it shows that we care. It shows that we care about other people besides ourselves. At the same time, I get angry and I feel resentment towards these people when I feel like it has just been months and months and months and years that this is going on, and it's damn tiring, to be honest. When I first came home, I actually thought that we were really turning a corner, and I came home and mask mandates were lifted. I started going to the store and seeing people without masks, which I still wore mine, but it did actually feel good to start seeing that and feeling that normalcy again, and then just all that just resets again, and all the mandates come back. And even when the mandates come back, there's still plenty of people who just don't abide by them, and most of the time it doesn't get enforced. And so people like us, people who play by the rules, have been wearing a mask for, 20 months now? Even fully vaccinated. I have to listen to people tell me that only 0.02% of children have died from COVID. How us young, healthy people don't have anything to worry about. How it's really the vaccinated people that are spreading the disease, which is, I don't even have any words to explain how stupid that is. To listen to that in the face of like all the time that I've spent, all the energy that I've spent away from home for something that I feel very, very strongly about, that I think is such a simple thing that that all of us can be a part of fixing, healing, getting through this whole thing. And it just goes on and on and on and on and on. You get to this point where this pseudo logic of well, look, see, all these people getting vaccinated, and yet the disease is still there. So see, it doesn't matter. It doesn't do any good. So it's either a fake virus that doesn't need to be taken seriously at all, or it is a real virus and the vaccine doesn't do anything. Even though, like, in every hospital, in every city, in every county, statistics across the country, it's the hospitals are filled with unvaccinated people. Unvaccinated people are dying. And I'm just damn tired of explaining just simple, easily clarifying statements of fact about this disease, about what you can do to mitigate the spread, how easy it is, how simple it would have been for us to be so far past this by now. It's insane. For a country with the means that we have, and I have to hear people talk about how our kids are fine and we don't need to worry about them, let them go back to school, take off the masks. First of all, maybe I'm too much of an idealist, but in those types of situations, like gun violence, one kid is too much. I don't care what the stats are. One kid is too much. When you are in a situation where you can prevent something with a pretty simple act, a a very modest sacrifice to mitigate something, just for the kids alone, it's worth it. But your kid's grandparents might not be so immune healthy, and probably would appreciate looking out for them too. And that's the thing that this all comes around to every time we have this some version of this conversation. It comes down to just being selfish, being self-centered, and how does it affect me? I I know people who just, well, I don't get sick, so I don't worry about it. Well, that's great. You're not living on an island, and I worry that it's come to the point where, I mean, there's nothing that anyone can say or do. There's no literature. There's no scholarly articles. There's no scientist that can say anything, or doctor. I mean, even Donald Trump himself has tried telling his base to get vaccinated, and they just boo him off the stage now. They're so far gone that it's just, we're either going to reach herd immunity through finally enough people getting vaccinated, or we'll reach herd immunity because enough unvaccinated people will die until it gets to enough of a ratio where the disease can't sustain itself anymore. But it's taken a damn long time, and it's getting tiring, and I don't know what other way to express how frustrating it is that something so simple that people could do, people just can't get past that selfishness, that self-centeredness precludes them from making the most modest, not even sacrifice, just a I don't know what word I'm trying to think of right now. Just the slightest little tweak in your daily life to make things a little bit easier for other people, and just slow this whole thing down. There's a lot of toxicity out there right now. People wearing masks in situations that maybe you don't understand. They're driving by themselves in their car. They're outside taking a walk thousands of feet from anybody else. They might have reasons beyond just your limited understanding. They might just be afraid. They might just be weary. They might be immunocompromised, or they might have family that's immunocompromised. But the fact that people taking steps like that get ridiculed for that, it's astounding to me that that having not any knowledge of that person's situation, that would be the the route that you would take with that. Just selfish, and I don't know if there's a cure for that. But apparently there's a cure for COVID, but some people aren't interested in that. So we continue on with this story, and we'll see how far it goes. Anyway, thanks for checking in on me. I'll catch up with you all again very soon. Have a great rest of your day. Remember, don't be afraid to question the consensus.